Okay, guys. Hey, I just wanted to bring a little mini lecture your way regarding regarding the reading from Dante that we did for Thursday. As we talked about in the discussion panel this week, there's the scene where Dante is in the first loop of the Inferno or Hell, as we call it. And he's walking around with Virgil, who's actually from that loop, who lives in that loop, right? Who has been sent on mission by Beatrice to go get Dante and bring him up through hell and purgatory. Although, of course, Dante won't be able to enter heaven and lead Virgil won't be able to enter heaven and lead Dante through heaven because Virgil was born before the time of Christ's life on earth, and therefore Virgil never had the opportunity to believe in Christ. Therefore, Virgil is stuck in the first loop of the Inferno, of hell. All of that said, Dante meets, Dante, when he and Virgil are on the first loop, he and Virgil run into Virgil's buddies, Homer, and the other great poets of classical Roman and Greek and other cultures. And when they walk up, naturally Virgil belongs with them. We all know that. But then Homer, says, "Hey, Dante, what's up, man?" Gives him the handshake of brotherhood. And, this looks kind of cocky of Dante, right? Because Dante is basically in this scene, he is saying, I'm on a par with, or I'm going to be on a par with Homer and Virgil. I am the great poet of the Holy Roman Empire. In other words, medieval Catholic Europe, right? So pretty cocky of Dante. That said, the question is he being cocky or does he just know? Does he have this sense and he's just saying it as it is? He knows who he's going to be. He knows what he's going to be because there's a famous quote by the poet T.S. Eliot, who once said that Shakespeare and Dante divide the world between them, and there is no third. In other words, who are the two greatest poets in Western literature? Dante and Shakespeare. Some would argue they're the two greatest. Dante spent 10 years writing the Divine Comedy, which is basically 100 short poems, of which the Inferno, the Inferno or Hell, the part that we're reading, is like the first third of those 100 poems that together make up, those 100 cantos that together make up the Divine Comedy. But again, so is Dante being boastful, or is he just saying it the way it is? Or is he being prophetic? And all of that to say, this really reminds me. I've got my Oxford Anthology of Shakespeare. I love this book. It's not all the best passages, but it's a lot of the best passages. So I just love flipping through it. But I want to read you a sonnet by Shakespeare. This is one of his most famous, maybe the most quoted sonnets by Shakespeare. It begins, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee." Give me 1 second here. So, again, if you wanted to look that poem up, just look up Shakespeare sonnet and type the first line, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" And basically, what is the point of this poem and why do I bring it up? Well, um, in the poem, Shakespeare is comparing this lover of his to a summer's day. And in the comparison, nature takes second place. He's like, you're more lovely than summer, you know? You're also more tempered, you're more gentle than summer. So you're more beautiful than the sun, and yet you're also not blazing hot, uncomfortable like the sun is. You're perfect, you know? The sun is just, yeah, no. It's too hot, right? And he said, everything that's fair, everything that's beautiful dies and decomposes, but not you. You know, eventually the sun's going to burn out, you know, and the grass all turns brown, the leaves all die and fall to the ground, but not you. And why not you? Why is this beautiful girl he's talking to, why is she never going to fade? And you get the answer in the last 6 lines. Your eternal summer will never fade. You know, your beauty will never fade. You'll always be young and youthful. Why? Because I've written a poem about you. When in eternal lines to time thou growest, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this. As long as men can see, they will be reading this poem. And as long as they read this poem, your beauty will live on, right? And so if you think about it, Shakespeare is being egotistical, so to speak, on the same line as Dante here. You know, call it boasting or call it just knowing that you're going to be great. But Shakespeare is like, you know, honey, this poem that I'm writing here, people will be reading this in 1,000 years. You know, this poem will be read as long as people have eyes. I know it will, because I'm the greatest, or I will be. And so you'll always be young. It'll always be summer for you, right? And in the same way, Dante, he meets these guys and he writes about, you know, Homer offers him the right hand of fellowship. Because Dante, before he's even done with the Divine Comedy, he knows he's going to go down as one of the two greatest poets in Western literature. Alrighty, so just a little comment, you know, on Shakespeare and Dante in comparison there, and if somehow this makes its way into like an answer on a test question or something. That'll be awesome. It's not necessarily going to be part of a required question on the test, but a little bit of a bonus for the class for you. All right. We had some good discussion this week. Again, you know, feel free to contact me via Skype, email. Skype is preferable, but if you have any questions coming up about what's going to be on the test, and again, today I'm going to try and get out a study guide for that. All right. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Bye.